Welcome to my review of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Admittedly, I was not a huge fan of Star Wars. However, that doesn't stop me from giving my take on the latest installment. The film starts off mid-battle sequence, with Kylo Ren battling a whole lot of stormtroopers and picks up from there. Now, if I'm correct, there were 3 other directors set to direct this film before J.J. Abrams was placed as the official director for the film. And however, I think with the idea of having 3 other directors to direct the last film in the trilogy, or in this revamped version of the Skywalker saga, it did kind of, I suppose, screw it over slightly, and there is a reason for that, I think, which is will be available in the link below. The site says there were 3 different directors who wanted to direct for the film, and it says here 3 different directors made the original trilogy of Star Wars films. Looking to repeat that pattern, Disney had originally planned to have 3 different directors for the sequel trilogy. History has shown that didn't work out, with J.J. Abrams returning to direct The Rise of Skywalker, taking over from Colin Trevorrow. So what made Trevorrow exit the project? The initial report said it was creative differences, which is usually code for we couldn't agree on much, only now it is becoming more clear why Abrams bookended the series rather than just starting it. Now, as we know, Star Wars has an up and down history with its directors for the different movies. And it says here, the original trilogy of movies were directed by George Lucas and Irvin Kershner, who directed The Empire Strikes Back, and Richard Marquand, who directed The Return of the Jedi. For better or worse, Lucas directed all the films of the prequel trilogy, giving those movies a unified vision, but it was a vision with which fans had many issues. So after Disney bought Lucasfilm in 2012, they threw out Lucas's proposed story and decided to go their own way, with Abrams, Rian Johnson and Trevorrow making the new Skywalker episodes. After that plan was announced, it gradually fell apart. Lucasfilm began to have trouble with its directors, particularly with the standalone Star Wars movies. Rogue One had a rocky production with an uncredited Tony Gilroy, The Bourne Legacy, taking over for credited director Gareth Edwards in post-production. Josh Trank was axed from the standalone movies after his Fantastic Four turned into a mess. Most infamously of all, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller were fired in mid-shoot on Solo, with Ron Howard directing the bulk of that movie. Trevorrow would have seemed an ideal choice for Star Wars, having directed Jurassic World to record-breaking success. However, even that kind of success doesn't insulate you from misfortune, as Trevorrow found out the hard way when he got the boot in 2017. So why exactly did the first director, Trevorrow, exit the project? According to Screen Rant, many reasons were bandied about as to why Trevorrow left. There were reports that he was difficult to work with. Others suggested that his follow-up to Jurassic World, The Book of Henry, was such a notorious bomb that Lucasfilm got nervous about him bringing the sequel trilogy home. Ultimately, per the Wall Street Journal, it came down to the script. Neither Trevorrow nor Lucasfilm were happy with it, but when Trevorrow asked for a chance to rewrite it, it was apparently the final straw. Interestingly, Trevorrow still retains story credit on The Rise of Skywalker with his co-writer Derek Connolly. The final script was credited to Abrams and Chris Terrio, who have had a face who have had to face queries about why the movie seemed to go out the way, seems to go out of its way to undo what happened in The Last Jedi, and why the film ended up seeming rushed. Uh, Whether Trevorrow would have made the movie any better will never be known, with some fans claiming the cut that was released wasn't what Abrams really ever wanted either. Um, so, but that doesn't really take away from the fact that The Rise of Skywalker was still a very good movie, in my opinion. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Star Wars movies, I still will give it a fair go. And ultimately, I enjoyed the series, or the movie itself, rather, um, because as you know, a whole load of Star Wars content ended up on Disney Plus on the 4th of May with a brand new unannounced Star Wars movie being directed by Taika Waititi. Um, this will apparently be the next film in the main franchise after The Rise of Skywalker, which has not been given a date yet, which I'll have more on that soon in a separate video. Um, but yeah, where does The Rise of Skywalker end up in my ratings? Well, to be honest, the cinematography was good. The different angles was uh, the way in which the characters were portrayed was good, and I think it's definitely, in terms of cinematography, there is definitely a stand up from, I think, The Last Jedi. Um, the story might not be as clear as The Force Awakens, but it's up there with